Kwe, welcome. Ninda Luisi Valerie. The name given to me 4 days after my birth is the one the eagles watch over. I was gifted the name Nodi Wenda, which means wolf eyes, from my Dene family, and have been gifted the name Auntie from the Torres Strait Islanders. I am Mi'kmaq, Haida, Roma, and UK Islander descent. I am a mother and a grandmother, and I am living with HIV. I am here today with Becky on behalf of the CHIW's PAW team and gatherers of knowledge to present. It interferes with me getting in touch with my culture. Indigenous women with CHIW's PAW speak out about denial of culture in healthcare. We begin by acknowledging all the ancestral traditional territories, lands, and waters across Turtle Island, where we work, play, live, and especially learn from. We acknowledge the unceded ancestral traditional lands and waters of the Coast Salish, where I connect my mind, body, heart, and spirit, and from where we are speaking from today. I honor the Tsleil-Waututh, the Squamish, and the Musqueam. We give thanks to our supporters, funders, and students, and to all of you for taking this journey. We have no conflicts of interest to disclose. We begin with the words of an Indigenous woman living with HIV. Trying to get proper treatment as an Aboriginal woman, it's an uphill struggle. It's a constant. But if you fall down or if you give up, you fall down, you hit rock bottom. I've been there. So it's a constant uphill battle. Decades of research have described the poor health experienced by Indigenous peoples and Indigenous women living with HIV in a system that carries on colonial legacy of trauma, stigma, and discrimination from residential schools, the 60 Scoop, and other policies shaped by structural racism that have shaped the experience of what it means to be an Indigenous woman accessing healthcare today. A health equity approach calls for enhanced understanding of the needs and priorities of women living with HIV in all their diversity and in all their strengths. As another woman shared, I started learning more and more about the ceremonies and my culture, and if it wasn't for my kids and my culture, I wouldn't be here.
It is with this background that we began the CHIW's PAW study. CHIW's PAW is a sub-study of the Canadian HIV Women Sexual and Reproductive Health Cohort Study. PAW stands for Positive Aboriginal Women and is a term gifted to us by Keisha Larkin. In British Columbia, CHIW's PAW is led and designed by Valerie Nicholson, asking the question, how do Indigenous women living with HIV in the Coast Salish territories understand their health and well-being through traditional ways of knowing? We indigenize the research process to answer this question. 6 Indigenous women living with HIV on the Coast Salish territories were invited to participate in 3 gatherings led by Indigenous women living with HIV. First, we held an introductory virtual gathering where we shared study objectives and introductions. And next, we connected over a 4-day land and water connecting art workshop with sharing circles supported by an elder. And third, we held a series of individual heart-to-heart chats to connect with each woman who participated after our team had completed participatory data analysis to confirm that her voice and her priorities were being shared accurately. We are honored to be able to share with you one of their salient priorities here today, culture denied. We listened to the women. They shared a deep understanding of their health as a holistic balance of taking care of the mind, body, heart, and spirit. Central to this balance is understanding the connection between health, traditional ways of knowing, old knowledge, blood memories, and nature. Women described having an intimate knowledge of themselves and their bodies and knowing when this balance has shifted and needs attention. One woman shared, "We all have the healing. We have to tap into it and be aware, because the closer you go with Mother Nature, the more awareness you become." Along with this understanding of the cycle of health, imbalance and unbalance, renewing and regenerating, health is a journey mirrored in nature. Another woman shared, "I put the heart at the center because that's where our healing comes from. When we think and use all the medicines in different aspects, so that's where I put the heart there, and I drew the tree of life because it's grounding and forever regenerating."
Despite a strong sense and understanding of their health and what they need, all women reported experiences where their culture is denied in various ways in the healthcare system. especially where it conflicts with the Western notion of health. Women shared experiences of not being listened to and having healthcare providers actively denying the existence of the traditional ways of knowing that something was wrong or imbalanced because it doesn't come in a textbook. As one woman shared, "You're not listening," which is a common theme because the doctors aren't listening. They think they know what's right just because they've gone to school and they've taken all these classes and they think they know everything. But it's like, we know our bodies and we know when something's wrong because our bodies tell us when we're wrong. This denial dismisses women. This mismatch in what healthcare providers assume women need and what Indigenous women are asking for becomes apparent. One woman shared that this top-down approach taken by some healthcare providers who assume that they know what their patients want aren't actually giving women what they need. As they said, the doctors are always shooting us what to do and how to take care of our health, but they aren't there to help us, really. They don't go to bat for their patients. I've never ever seen them give us huge grants to help, like with our health care, nothing. This led some women to refuse to continue care because it denied agency within their healthcare interaction and was unsafe. I got pregnant, and you keep going down the road and it goes off because my healthcare then, I felt like so under the scope. I felt so pressured to do things I wasn't comfortable with. I was really uncomfortable with them pressuring me to take a bunch of blood from my son and a bunch of like samples from my son when he would be 2 years old. And I said, "That's not okay. I don't want that. You can do whatever with me, but don't fucking touch my kid." So I disappeared. My health just disappeared because I was like, "You know what? You suck."
Women were pressured into procedures or medical events that they were explicitly not comfortable with, and that interfered with how they draw strength and support for their health and healing. Many Indigenous women draw strength and support from their children and as life givers. As one woman heartbreakingly shared, "I don't know what it is about these white people that think they're so above in telling us what to do. When I was diagnosed and came here, almost an AIDS patient, I don't think the doctors wanted another Aboriginal AIDS case in BC. So that's why I think they sterilized me in the beginning, because they didn't want me to have any more kids. Well, that still plays on a woman's mind, you know? You had 4 successful births prior." By denying women their traditional approaches to understanding health and healing, it actively denied women agency over their own bodies, their knowledge of themselves, and what they know to be true. She continued, "I drew my meds that I'm currently on, and then there's an X through them, because I want to eliminate one of the pills that I know I can probably use traditional medicines. So," and she paused tearfully, "and like I said up there in the writing, it interferes with me getting in touch with my culture." This resulted in a mistrust in the healthcare system, with one woman sharing, "I put the healing crossed out because it's almost like they don't want us to find our healing methods, to cure ourselves, or even to help ourselves through any kind of mental, physical, spiritual aspect in our journey and through this virus." Another woman shared, "I tried to dry a strawberry with a red X because since I was homeless, I had no food, so it was hard for me to take my ARVs. I drew a house in the middle with a yellow X because I had no home. And then at that point, I wrote hope in yellow with a black X because I had no hope."
With mistrust, a frustration with not being heard and being told how to feel, women describe feeling caught in a tug of war between priorities of their doctors and trusting the intimate knowledge that they know are true. One woman warns, "If we keep getting pushed down by the authorities and we know it's right for us, then it just pushes us further away from getting help." Indigenous women living with HIV face discrimination and colonialism within healthcare settings, which actively denies women their culture. Women are rising strong and are actively working to come together and use their strength to advocate for themselves and their community of Indigenous women. All of the women who participate in CHIW's PA are in community making a difference. One woman speaks loudly, "Just ask us, I'm right here." We will close with the messages that the women wrote as change warriors to share with their healthcare providers. "I am not a statistic. We're important. Listen to me. Stop judging and assuming. We will be the voice of change. Stop denying care. More compassion. I'm human equals I deserve human rights. Don't tokenize me. I am more than HIV. Respect culture. No more interventions. Positive, healthy actions. Lim Lim, Wee Ellen, thank you.